a voice.
In a world where power shakes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please just go.
And it's Hakim Ziyech, who puts the
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. Your voice to be heard. Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight On Voice of the People Television, let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the
Good morning, Nigeria. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and welcome you to the VOP edition, the midweek edition of VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. I am Chukwuma Okoro. And you know how we say in our world, bad news is good news. So we have lined up good news for you this morning. Nnamdi Kanu loses prison transfer bid as lawyer quits over his alleged interference. Governor Soludo's closure of Onitsha main market triggers spontaneous Biafra protest as traders confront armed security agents. FCT workers defy court order, day weekend amid threats of sanctions over continuous protests. Now, these are the major topics of discussion. We also have other interesting trending stories.
All right, welcome to the show. That's it. And I am Moses Humphrey.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jane.
All right, then. So now let's talk about some of the things that Nigerians are talking about. Now, the President Bola Tinubu, briefly stumbled on Tuesday during a ceremonial march past organized by his reception at the parade ground in Turkey. The incident occurred as the President joined the Guard of Honor, drawing momentary attention before the program continued without disruption. A video posted on X by Turkish digital news platform Nefes Gazetesi shows President Tinubu walking alongside his Turkish counterpart, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, before he stumbled to the ground, where he was quickly assisted by the Secret Service. Meanwhile, the presidency has reassured Nigerians that President Bola Tinubu is in good health and fully engaged in official duties during his ongoing state visit to Turkey, dismissing concerns sparked by the near fall Addressing reports that trended online, the presidency clarified that the incident occurred not because of any health issue, but as a result of a poorly laid carpet at the venue. Oh well, as far as I am concerned, things like this happen. I don't think it's anything to fuss over. You know, one can trip and fall. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a big deal, and I don't think it's anything that we should focus on and happen to. But I think the president looked tired at that. When you see him, I mean, there was another video of him marching, walking along. He looked tired. Now he traveled that distance and then went into the ceremonial guard and the rest of them. It's a lot, to be honest. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So if the president is tired, you can tell Nigerians that, look, the president is tired. He needs rest. If he needs rest, he should take some rest. Take a day off. Take a day off whatever activity. Rest 2 days if he wants to, and then get back to active work. But the need and desire to quickly come and dispute news and say it becomes a little too much. As far as I'm concerned, the man is tired. He needs to rest. He should get some rest. If it involves well, I would say he rests in Nigeria, not abroad, because if he goes abroad, we start to argue what he's doing there. Start to talk about where he is, what he's doing there, so he can go to Obudu, Kakatu Ranch, and get some rest. Or better still, somewhere in Eco-Atlantic there, away from the blaring of cars, the honking of cars and noise, and get some rest, and then can get back to work. That's my point on this.
Well, you have made too many points here. Well, presidents do fall, human beings do fall. It's a natural thing.
Yes.
It could happen to anybody at any time. But for the presidency trying to explain it away, it makes it more ridiculous, than it shouldn't even be. They said it was poorly laid carpet. He wasn't the only one that passed through that poorly laid carpet, And if you watch closely, at the video, you discover that at some point the president started easing out. What I mean by easing out is that he started losing some kind of pace, and he started gravitating to the right. When even his host was going to the left. He was, at that point he became dizzy at that point and had started losing it. That is the truth of the matter. Joe Biden did fall. Presidents, it happens. You see presidents, delivering speeches, keynote addresses, and all of that, and all of a sudden they take a fall. White House press secretary the other time, in which administration, fell too. So these things happen. But the issue of it is that if you look deeper, truth to be told, except we want to continue to live in self-denial that these things are not happening, Moses says that the presidents need to take a day of rest. The president just came back from a working visit. A working visit. No, the president just came back from a holiday, not working visit. The Dubai, the UAE Sustainability Summit was just for like 2 days. But it had been away for like 17 days or so, So he's been resting. And if he wants to rest, he can also rest in... the president can spare us all of this embarrassment. He can even spare himself this kind of embarrassment. He's a hard-working president, I must admit. He's everywhere, He's a man about town. He's in Brazil, he's in France, he's in UAE, he's in China, And some people have described him as Nigeria's foreign-based president. I don't know what that means. Because president spends... Out of how many days that we have had this year, the president has just been around for 9 days, and off he goes again. So those things could be, exhaustion will simply set in, at some point. So, but the truth is that beneath in all of this, I think the president needs. I don't know how to put it, but it's like the exhaustion is not coming from, the normal activities of governance. I think it's coming from a background of health, So. Like I said, it's normal.
It's normal, but let's also not ignore the underlying factor in all of this, and it's that trust. In saner clients, when things like this happen, people just move on because there's there's a healthy communication between the the government and the people. when Biden had to leave office for a surgery, they actually told Americans what he was going to be operated of.
And he even handed over power
he
to
handed
Kamala
over, but
Harris.
in the history of Nigerian democracy, you have never, and I'm not sure we're going to see that in a hurry, where a president has to be on sick leave or annual leave and hand over to his deputy.
No, Buhari did.
Okay,
Buhari
he
did hand over
did. Okay,
to
he
Buhari.
did.
And
But
when he
you know,
came,
I
he
missed a lot.
completely-
I missed a lot of controversies and co.
Controversy.
So for me, I think the deeper issue here is trust, because you see the way the presidency had to quickly debunk it, that
Is
it
that
was
the duty of that's the duty of
poorly
the
made.
president.
Oh yes,
That's the duty
but
of
you
his
know that
handlers.
I really feel for his handlers, because they spend a lot of times, a lot of
Debunking things.
debunking.
You know why they spend a lot of time debunking things? Because you know one thing about a lie is that if you tell one lie,
You have to
need
keep-
another lie to support the lie that you told today. They don't know how to handle it.
They
As a
don't,
matter
and
of
Nigerians are not stupid. That's the thing.
Nigerians are not stupid.
We are not docile, so
You
it's
know?
it's just unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate.
It's a breakdown of trust. There is no trust in the government. That's why
Well,
things like
well-
this make the front page news.
If you ask me, I think the president, like Moses said, and I align my thoughts with him, the president needs more rest in all of that. Anyway, let's move away from the president's fall and talk about the protesters, you know, people that have protested again on the ban on alcohol sachets and PET bottles, and in support of people that are in support of the ban stormed the Lagos office of, okay, we now have two sets of people that are against and people that are in support of the ban, as they stormed the Lagos office of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control at the Solo in Lagos on Tuesday. Well, both groups displayed various placards with contrasting messages in support of and against NAFDAC's decision to support manufacturers from producing alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles below 200 ml. Protesters in support of NAFDAC's action carried placards urging the agency to maintain the ban, while those against the ban displayed placards with inscriptions accusing the NAFDAC DG of working for multinationals and declining to protect indigenous
There
manufacturers.
seems to be more to this.
I think there's more to this, but well, it's business. There is more to this. I'm looking for the appropriate word that we used to call it in business. You know, on top of my head, I can't remember, but it will come. You know, there's more to this because business is like, it's more like a farm war now. You know, the pharmacy war that we have globally. It has come to this stage. Some people will be for and some people will be against. Well, I think we had a banter on this topic the other day. And
Yes.
well, we were of the opinion, I was of the opinion that, look, that the ban is good and that the place to start from is even the motor park. And I still reiterate that fact as I speak this morning. You know, it's something that, one thing is that NAFDAC has not said that you should not produce alcoholic beverages. What they are saying is that you don't produce the PET sachet and the PET bottles, you know. Why? Because it is very easy to adulterate, and so because a lot of people have access to it, and it destroys society.
And it's very handy.
It's very handy, you know, low end and all of that. So, but if you need to produce in big bottles and all of that, if you want to do the brandy, the whiskey, big bottles, go get license and do all of that. It's not taking away anybody's business. She's not supporting any multinational. Even the local ones, the big bosses, we have indigenous producers, and they are not they have not banned them.
Yes.
You know, so it is like when we have a public interest matter, you see people go against it, and you see other people, maybe government, going to support another project. Like when I was in Enugu and I was on the show as a guest there, guest analyst, and I told Moses that time, because Moses asked me a question, and I told him that, you know, we have seen people that are protesting against the protest, even before the protest started. And nobody stopped them, you know. No. They were not trying to cause commotion in society and all of that. But the moment we saw people protesting against the government, people said it was going to be hijacked and all of that. But the one in favor of the government, nobody hijacked it. So it tells you, you know, you don't need to travel far to see those behind those protests. So this one, well, multinationals and local industries, who is behind all of these protests? But the important thing is that we have NAFDAC say, look, enough of these sachet beverages, alcoholic sachet beverages. If you want to produce, go the right way. And I'm thinking you wouldn't have issues with NAFDAC. That's it for me.
I agree with you. For me, it's even the theatrics. Anytime you see, unions or bodies protest against the government, you see some other people protesting against the protesters. And sometimes I wonder, whose side are you supposed to be on? You understand? So it's always so obvious that all these
It
things
depends
are
on
just
who pays you more.
who pays you more. And how come nobody protests against the people who are protesting against the protesters?
That would be a lot more complicated. But I think we should look at this from different angles: the health implication, and the economic aspect to it. Now, you talked about producers of bigger contents and the rest of them. I know there should be some sort of regulation to ensure that those who would be laid off from the ban of sachet and PET bottles, alcoholic beverages, will have some sort of reprieve. They should get maybe absorbed into another system. If you're asking these companies to stop production of the sachets, then they will be producing something else. We've seen a stop in the production of styrofoams and the usage of styrofoams. Largely, that has gone into effect, and I know that some companies have had to fold up in that regard. Now, what other opportunities are you providing for those companies to still get back into business one way or another? Is it the role of government to do? Is it will government provide an enabling environment for these companies to still find their way back into doing something, or can those styrofoams be reinvented into something else? Something else that can be useful and less harmful to the environment and the rest of them. I think that should be introduced into this as well. Beverages, is there something else that can be done? I mean, I'm just asking if there's something else that can be done to ensure that these people don't just go home and start to roam the streets, because a lot of them are casual workers who just earn by the day.
Yes.
So what would they fall back on? Would they go back to roaming streets? Would they go back to, some of them go back to stealing phones and picking pockets and the rest? I'm sure we don't want that. So there should be something for these people to fall back to.
Moses, you recall while growing up, this sachet business wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's a recent creation, low-end market, because of how the economy took a nosedive. So you had to cater for that low-end market.
Yeah.
Now, when we see this kind of pushback, I talked the other day about a certain economist, Joseph Schumpeter, who the creative destruction thing. When we make historical progression, there's always advancement in society. But you see that there are always people that push back. Even when steam engine, the Industrial Revolution at the beginning of it, we had people called the Luddites, very well organized handwork men, They were against the introduction of machines, in Great Britain at that point. But they tried as much as they could, and they couldn't stop it because society had to move on. Historical progression, of mankind. So that is what we are witnessing now. I agree that at some point people will have to lose their jobs. Unfortunately, that it is. But that is what it is. But at some point, something has to give if people have to move on. The low-end market of this thing is causing problems for society. And so what NAFDAC is trying to do is, look, enough of this. Let's just continue. Let us move up. Let's scale up. If you cannot do it the right way, then you stop. But people have to. It's like when computers, desktop made it on the scene, people that were using a typewriter. It's either you reinvent or you fizzle out. It's business.
We need to query those that will be behind the protest, because if you look at this critically, Nigerians ordinarily will not come out to protest and say, "No, this must go. Sachet alcohol must go." Nigerians ordinarily will not come out.
Yeah, because for a lot of people, if you are taking it to die, that's your business.
Yes. Yes. They cannot be bothered. Nigerians cannot be bothered about things like this. What Nigerians care about is food. So if anybody is going to come out to protest, somebody somewhere is funding this.
Obviously, it's very obvious.
But I said it now. And I said it depends on who is paying more.
Look at the video. It becomes even more obvious.
The man even holding the placard does not even know what he's saying. Look at him.
Haven't you seen protesters turn placards
upside down?
So we need to query what exactly is going on.
What is going on is the farmer war that I talked about. You know, it's the farm war. The farmer war. It's a global thing. When they say, oh, that we have vaccines and all of this, and no, people say no, vaccine is going to kill a lot of people. You know? So it's always there, marketing and the marketing of businesses. It's a global thing. You know. So at that point, when we need to move on, something has to give. That is what it is. But like Moses said, who is behind this? You know, it could be, well, it's difficult to make suggestions here, but it could be the people that want it banned. Talk about institutional agencies, institutions that want it banned. They say, okay, you know, because in their accounting headings, these things are available, PR, public relations, and all of that. It could be, you know, slotted into all of that, and everything happens.
Oh, well. Let's move on to another conversation.
Oh, yes, let's move on to the APC. The APC, the All Progressives Congress APC, has dismissed as false and misleading a viral document circulating on social media which claims that notorious terrorist Bello Turji was registered as a member of the ruling party during its ongoing electronic membership registration and validation exercise. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the party described the so-called APC membership slip as a complete fabrication with no link whatsoever to its official membership register or database. The APC said none of the digital or registration details displayed on the documents correspond with its electronic registration system, stressing that information does not exist in its records. Describing the circulation of the documents as a deliberate act of misinformation, the party accused unnamed individuals of attempting to mislead the public and damage its reputation through what it termed a vile and offensive fabrication. It's so worrisome, and it's really troubling that a character like Bello Turji would be associated with any party for that matter. And I think for a lot of Nigerians, the issue for me is not even if the document is real or fake. For me, the fact that such a thing can even come up just goes to show that there's a trust deficit. And that Nigerians are, I mean, I'm really disappointed. Mr. Okoro, what do you think? I'm really disappointed in, oh yes. Yes.
In who?
I'm disappointed in the APC. I'm disappointed in how bad things have gone because, I mean, reading up on Turji, it's so...
Yeah, but the APC is denying it.
Of course, they will deny it,
okay,
but it's so... Of course, they will.
So you're sure that Turji has...
No. I can't authenticate that. But I'm just saying that for the fact that that even comes up in discussions right now, at a time where our security infrastructure is almost collapsed. It has collapsed. It's collapsing.
It could be the opposition doing this.
Yes, it's the opposition, but there's a bigger picture for me. I feel it's just a breakdown of trust. It's a very sensitive issue. We know that Turji is one of the most notorious bandits, as they call, as they call him in Nigeria, behind some of the biggest, highest numbers of killings in Zamfara, and I think particularly Sokoto. And this is also a man that has been linked to the Minister of State for Defense also. I can't quite, yeah. So for the fact that such a name is coming up at a time like this, where you know the killings, you know what bandits are doing. Yes. I think for me there's
I understand your angle.
This looks fake as far as I'm concerned.
It is. It might be fake.
Even the picture. I mean, this is a picture that is everywhere on social media.
Because he won't use this for.
Of course,
the APC.
if he wants to take a passport picture to be used for an identification card or slip, he won't use this picture. So he jolly well could be a member of a party, but of course, he would use a different picture, and we would not even recognize him in that picture because this is a popular picture
but you can
readily available online.
You can also not rule out the audacity of this young man called Turji Bello. You cannot rule it out.
He has audacity.
But if you look at the intelligence steps into it, it might just be fake.
Yeah.
But with what we have seen in this country,
anything is possible.
Past, anything is possible. Especially with the APC.
Yes.
With the APC. A situation where they are using palliatives, using palliatives to cover registrations where they give you palliative. Now they extract your name and register you as a member of that party without your knowledge. Speaks volumes about what they intend to do in 2027 and beyond. We have seen foreigners register in this country to vote. We have seen the governor of a state in Niger come to Nigeria to campaign for Buhari. I mean, in our own general elections, we have seen people from Niger Republic come to vote here and campaign for the APC.
Yeah.
So you cannot just, rule out all of this, except to do some kind of check.
Yeah.
So, but who does the check?
Yeah.
And if this is true, do you expect APC to come and say, no, this is true?
Of course not.
And like I said, sometimes I don't even question the audacity of this man because he's been roaming wild everywhere. They can't capture him. And it speaks to the kind of intelligence you have in this country. It's a lot, but with time we'll know whether. But again, I think the opposition is also capable of doing all of this.
But Mr.
It could also be someone, a young person who is just trying to gain traffic, on social media and earn money. And he puts out all of this. And look at how the thing has caught fire. It's trending everywhere. Oh, Tojibele is a member of APC. And the guy walks home with some pieces of dollars at the end of the month.
Well, Mr. Okoro, we keep talking about intelligence. That you just mentioned it now. You said one of the issues, it just says a lot about our intelligence or the lack of it. I always like to disagree because Nigerian military, like we all know, they are said to have some of the best intelligence in the world. So for me, I don't always agree that intelligence is the issue.
No, when I say intelligence, I talk about how we deploy it.
How we deploy it. Do you think it's the deployment that is the issue, or is the political will?
That's the deployment. We have all that we need because, like I said the other day, if somebody up there is captured or what, the person is easily rescued. If the police or the military want to get at anything, they always do.
They always do.
But it's a matter of at what point do they want to do this, who is involved and all of that, and the political considerations.
Oh, well, away from all of that, let's run to the headlines now. Let's look at what the papers have for us this morning. Nigerian Tribune. By-elections. Fubara refutes allegation of supporting ADC candidates. CBN rejects 4.9 trillion naira OMO bids to tighten liquidation, stabilize yields. LCCI laments as national grid collapses again. Second time this year. And that threw the nation into gross darkness. Tinubu seeks 110 justices for appeal court, 90 for federal high court. Proposes electronic visual transmission of court proceedings in amendment bill once Oyewole confirmed as Justice of the Supreme Court. Nigeria's new economic model under Tinubu to drive higher GDP figure, IMPI. Industrial Court orders FCTA workers to suspend strike. Nigeria consumes over 2.5 billion liters of sachet water annually. That's about the only semblance of potable water that Nigerians have. Why we are offering sustainable livelihoods to illicit cannabis growers, NDLEA. Tinubu stumbles in Turkey. No cause for alarm. Presidency explains he stepped on a metal on the floor, lost his balance briefly as he holds talks with President Erdogan. Protest rocks Onitsha over main market shutdown. Soludo deploys security operatives to enforce order. Anambra lawmakers back governor say state loses 19.6 billion naira every Monday.
And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the lead story, investigation uncovers colonel who plotted Tinubu's outs. Interim report reveals military officers targeted the president, the VP, ministers, and key installations, and arrests are ongoing. Discos blame low generation as greed collapses a third time. Tinubu proposes 110 Court of Appeal justices. Presidency downplays Tinubu's stumble, says Turkey visit on course. Wike threatens workers as court orders strike suspension. How I lost my 3-week-old daughter to Makoko demolition, carpenter. Showore's trial. Court admits Omokri's clip calling Tinubu drug lord.
Okay, now let's quickly run through the Guardian newspaper. On top of the headline, I think that's a rejoinder or a right of reply. Ray, setting the record straight on the disqualification of Nest Oil's lawyer. The window headlines, National Grid bounces back after crashing to 39 megawatts. That's serious. Tinubu seeks Senate's nod for health bills, more judges. Cool. Apologize to Nigerians for initial denial, Falana tells military. The big story, ADC hosts opposition show of force, unity push ahead of 2027. More stories from The Guardian. Senate urged to treat food insecurity as national emergency. 72% of Nigerian businesses tap AI to overhaul workforce. Court suspends FCTA workers' strike as Wike okays 12 billion naira for salaries. Tinubu pushes defense, economic ties in Turkey as aides dismiss health fears. Sit at home, traders protest as Soludo shuts down Onitsha market. More officials quit cabinet as Yusuf launches APC e-registration exercise. And that's it from the Guardian newspaper.
Now let's get into the main conversation this morning. Nnamdi Kanu loses prison transfer bid as lawyer quits over his alleged interference. Now, details of this story and more after the break. Stay with us.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka. I'm an about the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on Burning 9, right? 2564 Atlantic.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get drum! Hunger no
and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Welcome back. This is VOP this morning. A federal high court in Abuja has struck out a motion by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, seeking his transfer from Sokoto Correctional Facility. Well, in an ex parte motion, Kanu sought an order compelling the federal government and the Nigerian Correctional Service to transfer him from the Sokoto Correctional Facility to a custodial facility within the jurisdiction of the court in Abuja. Alternatively, he sought an order transferring him to the court's immediate environs, such as the Suleja or the Kefi Custodial Center. At the resumed court session on Tuesday, Demdo Hassan, a senior legal officer of the Legal Aid Council, who was representing Kanu, informed the court of his decision to withdraw from the matter, citing irreconcilable issues. Well, in his words, the applicant wants to dictate the tune of the matter. He wants to control what counsel will say. He wants to write down what I will say while in court. But as an officer of the court, I can't, in good faith, accept that, he said. Well, consequently, he sought to withdraw his appearance as counsel for Nnamdi Kanu. We've been joined in the studio here by Barrister Darlington Agumwa, who will help us make sense of it. Good morning, Barrister Agumwa, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Quran Moses.
Good morning to you, Barrister.
Yeah.
And beside him, we have Mr. Somi Uranta. Mr. Uranta is an author, a philosopher, as well as political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Mr. Uranta, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you.
We appreciate your presence. We've been joined from our Oka outstation by Barrister Clems Agui. He's also a lawyer, as well as political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister Clems Agui.
Okoro and everyone up here in the studio there.
Now, good
to see you again.
Beautiful. We appreciate your presence. Now, let me start with you,
Thank
Clem.
you.
Let me start with you briefly. If you just heard what the council has said, that look, I've withdrawn my services from representing Nnamdi Kanu because he wants to dictate what I say in court. He even wants to write for me what I'll say in court. What's your reaction? How does that help Nnamdi Kanu's case? This is not the first time that we are seeing it. The other time, he withdrew he sacked all his counsels, that were representing him at that point, and he had to represent himself. In all of this, how does this help Nnamdi Kanu's case going forward?
Thank you for that very question. And honestly, Nnamdi Kanu's case is one case I try to avoid because sometimes it's difficult to dialogue and argue with people who are deaf and unreasonable. What is just happening again between him and his lawyer is typical of his conduct and character in court. And no matter whatever is your argument and whatever is your emotion, when you come to the court has a process, the court has a rule. I don't think there's any lawyer that is what he sought that will want to be dictated for by a client. You might have a discussion with your client on how to proceed on a matter, but your client does not become the lawyer. You are the lawyer. You are the one that is bound by the ethics of the profession. So I don't know anybody that is faced in Nnamdi Kanu circumstances, which is a criminal case facing life imprisonment, that will want to interfere with how his lawyers handle his case, to the extent that this is not the first time lawyers are withdrawing, this is not the first time he's sacking his lawyers. And even when you ask him to open his defense, he will fail to open his defense. You come to an open court, you abuse the judge, you tell the judge he doesn't know the law, and you call him names. And I don't know any judge, even if you have the case in your favor, that will discharge you under that circumstances. And I think just a motor show, even though people like to vilify him, on Nnamdi Kanu's case has some measures of maturity. When that matter came up before him, he felt the matter was incompetent, but let me give it benefit of the doubt. Put appearance, and now this happened, and he struck out the matter based on incompetence. I believe that Nnamdi Kanu has opportunity to have one of the best lawyers representing him.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Clems, in a situation, I like the fact that you understand that a lot of people are very emotional and sentimental when it comes to the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think, or don't you think that Nnamdi knows what he's doing, trying to play up certain sentiments, for the people to see, oh, this man is being persecuted? They leave the legal perspective of it and start to consider the political implications of his incarceration. Do you think that that is what Nnamdi is trying to do, to play up sentiments, in his favor against the government? So that at the end of the day, there might be some kind of political pressure from society to say, oh, well, let this man go, since the legal route is not working for us. Do you think that is what Nnamdi is doing?
We have always regarded the courts as the last hope of the common man, despite its inefficiency and inadequacy. Trying to play to the emotions of the people is not law. Law is different from emotion. You are before the court, and I think it is left for you to pursue the judicial process while also trying to buy into people's sentiment and emotion. Because at the end of the day, it is the court that sentenced you to life imprisonment and confined you in Sokoto, not the people. And if you don't get the law on your side and have the law decide in your favor, the emotion of the people may not take you too far.
Okay.
So
All right.
whatever is they are trying to do is the wrong tactics.
All right. All right. All right.
Thank
Thank you very much, Barrister Clem. We'll come back to you in the course of this discussion. Let's come to the studio where we have another lawyer, Barrister Darlington Agomo. Now, Barrister, what are the legal implications, of Nnamdi asking to be transferred from Sokoto Correctional Facility to one in Abuja? Is it allowed in law for a prisoner to say, look, I don't want to be in this facility. This is where you have to take me to. Is it permissible in law? Let us understand all of that.
The Federal High Court is one jurisdiction. It doesn't have limitations or territory. It's one jurisdiction. Anywhere you see a Federal High Court, is one. Now, you were sent to jail by a Federal High Court. Whatever sentiment you want to play up, fine. They have been ruling. They have been ruling on this matter. But don't forget that it is the Federal High Court that has one jurisdiction.
I'm sorry, Barrister.
Yes.
My direct question is it permissible in law for a prisoner to apply to move from one facility to another? Is it permissible? Okay, it's not.
You don't decide where to serve.
Okay, you don't decide.
That's why I told you that the Federal High Court is one jurisdiction.
Okay.
You know of people who came from the north, they are serving in Owerri prison. They are serving in Port Harcourt prison. All different places. As long as the court have said, go to this place, you don't have a right to dictate for the court. In fact, it is the judge that will decide where you will serve. That is the in thing.
So apparently the application even died on arrival. Before arrival.
Mr. Okoro, I'm coming.
Okay.
Please. You see, most of the time, it is the mood of the judge that will determine how far your case can go. If you have decided to annoy and irritate the judge and your lawyers, that case will not go far. Look, even if they want to consider what you are applying for, on compassionate ground or whatever, did you do the right thing? All this thing that you are saying that the case died in arrival, there was no case in the first place. Okay. Because the deposition was not signed. The family of Nnamdi Kanu did not even come to validate what the lawyer have already written, which is the starting point. Then too, you are dictating for the lawyer what to say and what to do in court. So that case did not even arrive at the court. It's just that it was mentioned, and for mentioning it to them and with what transpired, the judge said no. More so when it was the same judge that you insulted, your matter came before him again. Mr. Okoro, how can he be happy to entertain your case? Tell me, is it possible? And when he heard what you were saying to the lawyer, the man, in fact, almost had to thank the lawyer for what he did by saying, no, I will not continue with this case, and all that and all that. The judge had to take time to congratulate him for upholding the tenets and the rules of the law. That is one. Then two, for God's sake, my people, anybody hearing me this evening, if you are closer to Nnamdi Kanu, please tell him to cool down. Tell him to cool down. This statement is not working at all. You tried it the first time, it didn't work. Why do you continue? You are not a lawyer, for God's sake. You don't even have a legal background. I was going
to ask you this question,
Barrister.
I was going to ask you, should Kanu continue to attempt to represent himself when it comes to appeals and the rest? How does that impact his case?
It will fail. It will fail, Moses. It will fail. There are no two ways about it. It will fail. Because you don't know the processes of the court. You don't know if you are not a lawyer. And now your lawyer, look, was it not Ozokeme that went to appeal court and quashed the 15-count charge against him? Michael Ozokeme.
Yes.
It was a lawyer that did it. Was that sabotage? And why all of a sudden Nnamdi Kanu doesn't want anybody? What is all this? Please, anybody that come, please tell him for the sake of the Igbos and the people he represents, let him cool down for God's sake. Because this thing is not helping his case at all. Look, it pained me so much because I am very, very sure that if Nnamdi Kanu had allowed his lawyer to go on with this case, Nnamdi Kanu wouldn't have been tried. And he would not be in jail by now. He wouldn't have been tried in the first place. He wouldn't. Okay. It would have been a question of, okay, America come in or help this abroad, Because I gave examples. What's the name? Abacha CSO. At the end of the day, what happened? After how many years? Just last week, he was decided and acquitted by the Supreme Court. Nobody had any noise. Sambo Dasuki, the same thing. The former EFC chairman, Bauer, the same thing. Quietly, Sunday Boho, the same thing. People were doing this work underground, behind closed door, talking about it, discussing about it. Why is this one different?
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Miranda, let me bring you into this conversation. Before this, appeal was turned out, the transfer from Sokoto prison to elsewhere was turned out, there was another conversation around statements coming from Nnamdi Kanu. He said that, he wouldn't want the statements coming from him spread by different people. He wanted it to be streamlined through one channel, so his words are not misconstrued. Now, what's your summation of everything going on? That statement, is it that some people in some quarters, or he has the premonition, or the idea that some people are deliberately misconstruing his statement and putting out false narrative to his plight?
You see, this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case is a very sensitive case. It's a case where someone is, bringing up himself as a messiah to a people that have been grossly marginalized. Because since after the Civil War, the Igbos are still feeling, and rightly so, that the war ended at the battlefield, but psychologically, within the political sphere of Nigeria, that the war continues. So Nnamdi Kanu, his job, he elected to fight for the cause of his people. So he's already against, he's up against a very mighty force, the force of the Nigerian state. So most of the things he does will be seen from different perspectives. But just like Barrister Darlington and even the other lawyers are saying, you need to just calm down. Because at the end of the day, there's a limit to what you can do on your own. It is the people you are fighting for. I'm sure if what he's looking for, if a referendum, is agreed to come in place today, every Igbo man or Igbo person will have to also participate to show if they want to belong to this country or not. So they should aggregate the feelings of people and act in that line. Otherwise, we might end up trying to, let it not be a case of someone who says doesn't like an animal that is squatting. Then you sell your cat only to go and buy a dog. You still have a squatter in your house. Exactly. So that is just what I feel about it.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much, Somi Ranta. Now, let's take this back to Mr. Clem Agui, Esquire. Now, this, the case of Nnamdi Kanu, what would your advice be? The barrister here has given his own thoughts on it, but what would your advice be going forward? Some have said that Nnamdi Kanu is aspiring to be the Mandela of Biafra. But going forward, what would your broad advice be as we wrap up this conversation? You might need to unmute your device so we can get your audio feed.
Nnamdi Kanu might be aspiring, rightly or wrongly, to be the Mandela of Biafra, but he has not put himself in position to be that Mandela, because when his Mandela moment came in during his trial, he missed the opportunity to be a Mandela. Rather, he used the opportunity to actually destroy his aspiration to be a Mandela. Because, as I can tell you, moving forward and having reviewed his case and also try to detach myself from it, to look at it from a dispassionate point of view, he has not helped his case at all. Even when you are sympathetic, even when the judge may want to be sympathetic to him, his tirades were abusive. Mandela wasn't like that. Mandela used his Mandela moment to offer clarity to his cause. Nnamdi Kanu is not positioning himself as a Mandela. If you want to be a Mahatma Gandhi, put yourself in the position, understudy Mahatma Gandhi, and put yourself in the mode and role of Mahatma Gandhi. You want to be a Martin Luther King of Biafra, go and understudy Martin Luther King and put yourself through that route of Martin Luther King. If you want to be a Mandela, it's just yesterday. Put yourself under the flesh of a mood of Mandela, so that when the Mandela moment comes in, you take it. What can I ascribe to Nnamdi Kanu as a word on the map? What? Just tell me one thing I can ascribe to him.
Okay.
Quote and don't quote. This is his political view or philosophy or his ideology of what he wants. It is all of mumbo jumbo and people acting on the emotion.
All right. All right. But,
emotion is wrong.
Barrister Agui, let me stay with you. Well, I am sure that few people, if not a lot of people, will disagree with you when you talk about the Mandela movement. Mandela didn't just become Mandela because at some point there were very big disagreements between Mandela, the ANC, and the black community in South Africa. At some point, there was even quarrel. Why was Mandela going behind to negotiate with the apartheid government and all of that? But that could be a discussion for another day. I would like for us to talk about briefly the politics of Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration. If we could tie it to what might happen in 2027. We had a discussion the other day, and we had the barrister here say, well, that what thing Tinubu can use to secure the vote of the Southeast is to release Nnamdi Kanu before 2027. Is there a possibility? Is it something that you see might happen, for the president to release Nnamdi Kanu? Okay, let's go, so as to attract Igbo votes in 2027. What do you see coming?
The truth of the matter is that you ask yourself, are Nnamdi Kanu supporters even prepared to vote, not talk of voting for the president? Are Nnamdi Kanu and his group, are they even interested in Nigeria, which they call a zoo? See, trying to play politics with his release or non-release will not even go far for anybody, because one, there is a conflict in agenda in Igbo land today. There are those who say it's Nnamdi Kanu or nothing. And there are those who say it's P2B or nothing. And all of them are drinking from the same cup and pulling from the same source. So do you want the Igbo presidency? Do you want to become part of the Nigerian table so that you don't become the menu? Is Nnamdi Kanu going to solve it? Nnamdi Kanu is not. Nnamdi Kanu and his group are not even interested in Nigeria, not talk of Nigerian politics. So releasing him will not be of any effect to any political leader. As I'm talking to you, the mode of the Igbo man today is to become the president of Nigeria. And if when Nnamdi Kanu comes out, except he's going to be working with the P2B movement and get interested in Nigeria to get the Southeast back into the Nigerian table so that we can be part of Nigerian discussion, then his release means nothing to anybody that released him. Because if we'll be running for president today, and then Nnamdi Kanu is released and tell you to go to Tinubu, it will be like Ojukwu coming back from exile and telling Igbos to vote for MPN. Did it work? It won't work. We are dealing with a different creature of people. These people have already shared posts and shared ministerial appointment and shared ambassadorial posts of their God-given Biafra. They are not even interested in joining forces with building bridges with other group of Nigerians to see where they can get the Igbo man or the Southeast into. Except this their narrow myopic vision that Biafra is coming and it is Trump that will give them Biafra. And who told you that? I don't know I don't know how you get to that conclusion.
All right then, Barrister Darlington, let's get your thoughts, your concluding thoughts on this one in 1 minute.
Yes, my concluding thought is that based on what is happening now, the Nigerian government still view the Igbo man with suspicion. And so we must decide on what we want. We are all clamoring for an Obi presidency. And you are still clamoring for Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. Please, how does it add up? You can see the dilemma we are in. That is why I've been telling my brothers, please, cool down. Let us take one step at a time. We must look at the federal government as what? As somebody who is up there. Look, if you are looking for something from somebody, will you not go with humility? You cannot say you want something from somebody and you are attacking him, insulting him, and using force, as if it is your God-given right. You must appear humble at every stage until you get what you want. This aggressive approach, it has not helped us. It didn't help us before, it will not help us now. That is what I'm saying. Let us even pretend as if we don't know what we are doing, we approach Nigerian state with all humility, so that a P2B can even be accepted. This thing is causing a problem for P2B because they not to still view him and the people as IPOB members who are ready to break Nigeria into pieces if he's elected. Is that with that kind of mindset? Can you continue to do this and still expect the federal government to listen to you? These are the areas I'm looking at it. If we don't cool down on this aggressive, it will not work. It has never worked, and it will never work for anybody. No government want to be.
From a legal standpoint, what manner of appeal do you think Kanu might put forward, considering the fact that, in his initial trial, he refused to defend himself, which led to his conviction? So what manner of appeal do you think he might put forward?
That is, if he can allow his lawyers to put up an appeal, there may be window for him, because in the appeal, though they are going to review what happened at the federal high court, but if they go and appeal, yes, a very good lawyer can pick up points there that they can present to the court. That is, if Nnamdi Kanu will allow his lawyers to work. That's what I'm saying here. This minor issue of relocation from, look at how he bundled it. Look at how he bundled it. So that is my fear here. So anybody closer to Nnamdi Kanu, tell him I said, this thing he's doing, he's the one that kept himself there.
Okay.
Yes,
all right, thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agumo. We'll have to let you go. And Mr. Somi Ranta, in 1 minute, please.
Well, the truth remains that whatever you are doing is for the people when it has to do with leadership. So if the people are saying, the majority of the people are saying that this is what is good for the people, I think the Mazin Nnamdi Kanu must listen to his people, because it's those people that you like. You want to help somebody do something, you must ensure that you are doing what the person wants, so that it will not be like the Nigerian politicians, most of them, that are doing just what they want, not what the people want. So that means, I said something about selling your. Say you have an aversion for a squatting animal. You sell the one you have, which is maybe a cat. Then you now go and end up buying a dog. You still have a squatter in your house. So let him show that kind of leadership skill that listens to the people. People focused, approach to things, so that the people who are even not with him will say, look, there is hope for something different than wanting to continue on the same trajectory that, is being rejected in Nigeria. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much, Somi Ranta, Barrister Darlington Agumo, and Barrister Claire Magui. Yes. So now let's move on to another conversation, which basically ties to the Nnamdi Kanu story, because the seat at home in the southeast is as a result of Nnamdi Kanu being taken to court. Now, Governor Soludo's closure of Onitsha main market has triggered spontaneous Biafra protest as traders confront armed security agents. Let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
When you say, make Nigeria no happen to you, me self go say, make you no happen to Nigeria.
You dey bypass your light meter. You dey jump queue.
Yet, you dey wait make Nigeria change for you. My brother, my sister, you self change.
Oh yeah. See that Naija pikin wey pack the thing wey block gutter wey dey cause flood.
Abba, Naija pikin, make we dey care for our environment.
Gen Z is no one work. Now quick cash them they find.
Just like that, boys don't turn Pablo. And girls?
Hablets.
Waiting they happen. We dey argue online, spread fake news with our full chest, divide ourselves on top religion, tribe, and politics matter.
But we go dey shout, no unity for Naija.
My brother, my sister, unity begins with you.
Someone japa, nobody wants stay. But who go fix Naija if no be you? Naija they wait for us same way we dey wait for Naija. That's why National Orientation Agency don't bring this better ogbonge plan. We go change the game. That na 7 for 7 agenda. 7 promises from leaders and 7 citizen codes.
7 promises them don't talk am. 7 codes now we go do am. No they wait, no they look face. Join body make we run the race. Now you and me, now you and me, now you and me go fix our
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, let's get into another conversation. The traders in Onitsha main market, Anambra State, took to the streets on Tuesday to protest the one-week closure of the market ordered by Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Now, many traders gathered at the market entrance and surrounding streets carrying placards and chanting slogans against the government's decision. Now, some protesters also displayed messages in support of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, while singing solidarity songs. The market area was heavily guarded as security agencies blocked the major access roads and entrances into the commercial hub. Armored personnel carriers and patrol vans were stationed at strategic points to prevent trading activities and crowd movement. Now, this led to tension and a growing crowd of protesters who insisted that the closure would worsen their economic hardship. Governor Soludo had ordered the market shut on Monday after visiting the area and observing that shops remained closed due to the continued sit-at-home practice. The state government said the action became necessary after repeated appeals to traders and market leaders to resume business activities were ignored. What we do have with us, Somi Ranta, author, entrepreneur, public affairs commentator, and from our Oka studio, Clem Agui Esquire, and also from our Benin, Comrade Emmanuel Agbogun, who actually joined the conversation earlier. He's a human rights activist and public affairs commentator as well. Comrade, I'll be coming to you very shortly, but I'd like to start off with Clem Agui, because, I mean, he's in Oka and, you know, can give us a feel of the atmosphere in Anambra. What's going on right there in Anambra? And the actions of the governor, how the people are really taking it. I mean, the generality of the people now, not just the traders now. Barrister Clem Agui, this is for you now. You might need to unmute your device.
It's happening in Anambra State that necessitated the governor closing the main market is not just something that he woke up to do. It was a very tough and hard decision for the governor to make. He didn't just wake up and make that decision. The appeal to the traders to go back to the market has been on for the past 2 years. The traders have been engaged one way, in different ways to make them see reason that the state is bleeding. If you look at the figures, the southeast region is losing about 7.3 trillion in the past 4 years due to the Monday sit at home.
Some would argue, well, sorry to interrupt you there, but some would argue that the traders did not just deliberately decide to sit at home in the first instance. There was an order given by, IPOB that whenever Nnamdi Kanu goes to court, there will be a sit at home. And then the Monday sit at home, it came into effect. And then even when some people in some parts of the southeast decided to disobey that order, we saw the pushback that they got. People were killed. Properties were destroyed.
Who killed the people? Who killed the people? Who destroyed those properties? Non-state actors. IPOB, ESN. Do you want the state of Anambra State to surrender the authority of the state to non-state actors that are murdering people and killing people? It was Abacha that said that if an insurrection lasts for 48 hours, that means there's a government hand in it. If there is any kind of market closure in Anambra, especially Onitsha, that is reputable for cleaning society when it is evil. I remember boys Oye with nostalgia. I remember the Bakassi boys. It was the traders that initiated all this move so that they can have a safe trading environment. Now, the same traders are telling you some ragtag skunk with drug-infested medicine. Oh, we are confronting them. These traders are the ones who are enabling and initiating this. They are not considering the emotion. Yes, it's from Nandikano. But like I keep telling you, emotion is not law. Some of them have been brandishing the Constitution. Oh, the Constitution said in Section 39 and Section 40, we have the right to assemble. We have the right to peaceful association. We have the right to do that. But you've forgotten that Section 14, 2B, gave the governor the right to maintain law and order and ensure good governance of the state, which when you stretch it also involve regulating markets, because the market belong to the government, not to the traders. The government regulates trade and commerce for the welfare of the people. So the governor's decision is based on Section 14.2b, which empowers him as the governor of the state to protect life and properties, maintain law and
protect lives and properties,
and ensure that people's welfare are taken care of. When you disrupt people's business on Mondays, it's not just the traders' business that are being disrupted. It is also transporters. It is also civil servants. It's also school children. Look at the multiplier effect. Anambra alone is losing 4 trillion naira in the past 4 years because of that. Slowing down the economy, putting us in bad shape. Let me tell you, it is a tragedy. I can't believe that Igbo man will be so much brainwashed that you will close down your business. Because the business is our life. I
would have loved, okay, you know what? Let me ask you this, and then I'll take it to Comrade in Benin, because I would have loved to ask him that question since, I mean, he's an activist. But let me just ask you this. Can you compel people to do things against their will? If they decide, I mean, you're saying the traders are the ones doing this, but if they decide that, okay, today I don't feel like going to the shop, I don't feel like going to the marketplace on Friday, or Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, and everybody else along the line decide that, look, let's just stay home. Let's just gather and, play draft or something on that day. Can you force the people to go out on days like that?
Told you here that non-state actors have no power or authority to remove a day from the working days as established by the government calendar. And if you think you have that right to chalk up that day, the government has also exercised his own right to close down the shop.
What if it is out of just will? They're not compelling anybody. I'm not compelling you, and you're not compelling me. I just feel, okay, today I don't want to go to my business.
No.
And my neighbor feels the same way, and the other person feels the same way, and everybody stays home.
You feel the same way. Your neighbor feels the same way. Everybody stays home. Thank you very much. Stay at home. The governor has said stay at home for the next 1 week.
Clems, I'd like to ask you. Clems, I'd like to ask you, if you establish the point or the fact that, look, it is non-state actors, that are asking people to stay at home, why shouldn't the governor go after the non-state actors rather than close the market? What kind of protection has the governor ensured that if people come out, that they will not be harassed by the non-state actors whom we have left roaming and running wild?
No. Don't say that again. The governor did not leave the non-state actors roaming and running wild. Anambra had the best Christmas ever in the history of Anambra State.
Okay.
This Christmas.
How about 2 years ago?
We're talking about this year.
Okay.
The traders have no reason to go to talking about insecurity in Anambra State, because insecurity in Anambra State has come down to at least 99%. And therefore, they should go back to their business. If they don't want
So why do you think they are not going back to their business, despite the fact that
because they are collaborators. They are economic saboteurs. They are collaborators. They are the financiers, the enablers, they are the enforcers. Let me tell you, Let the market leaders open the market. Let those who want to come to market come to market. But they go and lock the market under lock and key. That even those who want to go to the market will not go to the market. It should be voluntary. If you want to go, don't go. You want to sit there at home, you don't want to come to sale this morning, stay back at home. But when you want to go, let nobody kill you on the road in the name of enforcing it. And let nobody lock up the office so that you cannot enter.
Well, that is where the government will come. That's where government will
you have
come
a
into
right.
effect.
The other person has a right. And you're only talking about your own right. What about the other man's right?
All right, thank you
the
very
market
much.
Lock up the market so that people who wants to go in cannot even have access. And they have their boys on the street that are kind of what this kind of nonsense that NLC does. It's voluntary if you want to belong to them. It's not something that you can force somebody to go and belong.
If I understand you clearly, it is.
As we went on strike, lecturer come to class, has to come to mob the lecturer that come to class and beat him up so that he cannot teach. Is that not violation? Your own right begins and stops where my own begins also and stops. So if the traders don't want to go to the market, don't go, but keep the market open. But if you don't want to go, you are disrupting economic activity in Anambra State and becoming an incompetence saboteur. The governor has said take a 1 week holiday. If you don't come back to work, to your work after the 1 week, I will make it another 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I think the governor, I have looked at the pictures of the market. It's quite a shanty and scanty. I think it is even time for governor to close that market for the next 1 or 2 years.
These are your thoughts. These are your thoughts.
So that I can repeat the market.
Some will disagree with you because that might cause even more chaos within the state.
No, that's not chaos. I mean, I don't think it's rebuilding their market. You are in Lagos. Lagos is rebuilding their market. Oti in Abia is rebuilding the market.
People are crying because stores are being lost. At the end of the day,
you can see
the shops are even more expensive, and those that were there before may not even have the money to buy.
The song of the street is not about opening our market. It's not about hunger. They are singing about Nnamdi Kanu is our savior. I let them continue to sing that now. I thought they would come to negotiate for the economic survival and allow emotion.
All right, Barrister Clement, thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's get others involved in the conversation.
I'm open to assist Nnamdi Kanu's soldiers and lobbyists to see that Nnamdi Kanu is released. But not by you becoming a economic.
All right, then. Now let's take this conversation. Thank you very much, Barrister Clement. Let's take this conversation to Comrade Emmanuel Agbogun, who's been standing by. Comrade, thank you very much for standing by. Now, the question I was going to just start with you is compulsion. Can you compel people to do something, especially when it comes to protesting? Whatever means of protest. If they say, okay, we want to go to the streets or we want to sit in our homes, down tools, can you compel them to do one or the other? And how effective will that be if you're trying to compel them to do something against their will?
I want to talk from the point of law. You see, we have come to a point in this country where we ought to respect our fundamental rights, owing to the fact that we live in a society where law and order is being preached as the order of the day. It is one's right to freedom of movement. And if anybody decides to say my right not to move becomes a threat to an economy, I think there should be an obvious reason for review. Very laughable what the governor of Anambra State has done. In fact, what they are trying to do is just to heat up the polity. Because if you agree with me, it doesn't just take the traders to move an economy, to move around on a particular day that they say sit at home. You have people that ought to move from my house to the junction to the bus park and to the market. So if I do not get a formidable means with security to move from my house to the junction, to the bus park and to the market, how do I get to the market? So these are obvious reasons. And for me, I think targeting a particular sector of the economy, owing to the fact that they don't just open the market on the Monday. Do you expect traders to come out on the Monday and there's no security of their own lives?
But the governor have said security will be made, security will be there.
When you say security, when you say security would be there, why don't you use that same avenue to checkmate those basic issues that cause insecurity on the said Monday? Now, having said that, let us be very, very, very factual with ourselves here in this country for once. you are talking about traders. These traders have made it very, very obvious that what they want is the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because they see a hope in the message he preaches. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for crying out loud, has also said that show me the law in which you are trying me. These are very, very fundamental questions to the existence of this country. And the high time we begin to play politics with it, it doesn't show that well for us. A judgment was given by a federal high court. What law informed the judgment? You put even a lawyer, I've seen people talk about legal teams and all that. You put even a lawyer or the Azakomes, the Falanas to defend such matter, Justice Omotosho would have also given the judgment, whether they had represented Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or not. So we should look at these things critically and fundamentally. You cannot say people whose rights are being, protected by the Constitution, their right to self-determination, their right to peaceful assembly, should be jettisoned. For crying out loud.
All right.
So, to cut the long story short, to the issue of the Anambra State Governor, if I would want to advise academically, the Anambra State Governor should, as a matter of urgent public importance, look critically into those sectors and factors that distort the traders to open their shops on Mondays. Because I've also seen on the social media where a young man was even speaking in Igbo, and I took time to listen. He said, if you provide security at various junctions, then they will be in the market. But by the time you expose them to say, come and open the shop, and people are coming to take over the shops and steal their goods, you're also trying to see that there is anarchy, organized anarchy as the case may be. If the governor is in charge of the state and is also in charge of protecting and ensuring that the market works on Monday, he should be able to look into those.
Well, probably the governor has put that in place, and we just wait to see that come into effect. Well, thank you very much. You want to add something?
Sorry, I didn't get what you just said.
I said
now,
probably the governor has put that in place, and it's just for us to wait to see.
If you have put that in place, why shut down the market for 7 days? My brother, see, I would want to leave this discussion
if you understand the motive of the governor is, I have put security in place, and I say come out on Monday, and you refuse to come out. So if you refuse to come out on Monday, let the market be closed for the rest of the week.
No. The question that is fundamental here is how many other businesses, excluding the main market that is also opened on Monday? Are schools open on Monday? Are churches open on Monday?
Some banks
open on Monday?
Also affected. That's what I'm saying.
So,
some banks were
the question to ask is how many of these businesses are actually opened on Monday, excluding the main market?
All right then.
Are actually opened on Monday.
All right, thank you very much.
That should be the focus of the governor, to give this his imagination or imaginary views, a position. How many of these businesses are actually opened on Monday?
There. Well, thank you very much. Somi Ranta, what are your thoughts on this? How effective do you think this will be going forward?
You see,
there are protests already.
Yeah, I was on a platform only yesterday, and I said, look, by some actions, either by omission or commission, we're actually dancing to the tune of some non-state actors. For instance, Boko Haram said Western education is haram. And you see most governors shutting down schools, playing out the script of Boko Haram. Secondly, Sheikh Gumi advised the president that he should forthwith stop every transaction with the U.S. and he should go to Turkey. I'm not sure he has stopped dealing with the U.S., the president, but he has just gone to Turkey. Now, the governor, he said, IPOB said you don't have to open on Monday, sit at home on Monday. And the governor, by his actions, either by omission or commission, have also gone ahead to bring out, act in the dictate of IPOB. But I tell you, what the governor is doing, he's actually trying to put the cat before the horse. all you're going to see is an impasse, an economic, social, political situation that will not go well for the state. What you think you want to solve, he's even aggravating it. Why lock the market? Why don't you treat the real cause of the issue? Has the governor sat down to think of why will these people, the Igbo man lost business, for him to shut his business, why would he do that? Is somebody giving him money? Is there anybody sponsoring him? You should look at these things because governance is about the people. You cannot come because you are called a governor. It's these people that elected you.
Emmanuel asked a very pertinent question.
Yes.
There are other institutions that are shut as well, banks and schools.
Have you been in the Southeast on a Monday?
No, I haven't.
Everywhere is shut down.
No.
So is the governor preventing?
About Anambra.
Onitsha, to be precise. So what happened in Onitsha on that day? You see the place bustling and.
That's what I'm saying. We said if go to the Southeast on Monday.
Okay. Most places are like that now.
No, it used to be, but no longer.
Okay.
When you have a lot of this now is in Anambra State.
Okay.
If you go to
So the governor should find out why is this so. These are people that love their business. What will make them not come out? And again, what kind of security has he even put in place? Is it just like they're asking?
How do you know the kind of security he has put in place if you don't first go out?
Okay, human beings should be used as guinea pigs now.
No, I'm asking the question. Should he come to tell? Should there be a town crier to say, oh, security has been put in place? Or you can see APCs parked at street points. Is that what will not give people the trust?
That is part of it. And not just having those things there, just like we have checkpoints at every point in the Southeast and South.
And on Mondays,
of crimes are still going
Mr. Ramsey, on Mondays, the checkpoints in Anambra, they disappear.
Okay, they disappear. They should come back. Where are they going to? They should come back. You must give the people the confidence. See, security is not something you even just see. You must feel it. When people feel secured, they will come out. So if you want to make it look like what kind of voodoo setting, people are insecure, they feel insecure, so they won't come out. So what this thing is doing is just using a sledgehammer to pursue a fly. You just destroy the table upon which the fly is resting.
How much of
Yeah. You said this move by Soludo is sort of unintentionally validating IPOB's powers because it pretty much shows that they can still control an entire commercial hub without shooting a bullet. So if fear is a form of control, who then can we say is really in charge of Anambra State? Is it the elected officers or these so-called enemies of the state?
That is the question we have to ask the governor. Who is in charge? Because his actions is validating what these people want. Create a situation of impasse. And he's helping to do it, either by omission or commission.
What would you advise?
Yeah.
What would
I
you
will
rather
advise the
see?
governor to sit with the people of Anambra, try and find out what the people want, and give them what they want. If they're asking for Nnamdi Kanu, open a talk.
It's not in the place of the governor to bring him out.
Why? Well, it's not. It may not be his place, but he should make a move. In Abia State, yes, you can see that the governor of Abia State have, as far as gone to Sokoto to see this gentleman. The governor should make a move that he feels, even if it's just for the optics. We cannot be acting, sitting on one high horse and think the people. Look, the aggregation of the people's thought is what he's standing for. If he cannot relate with the people, if his thoughts or his actions does not resonate with the people, then he has failed as a governor.
All right, Clem Agui, you are there. Do you think the governor is not sitting down to talk to the people? And how much impact will it have if the people say, look, we want the release of Nnamdi Kanu? What really can the governor do? We can't get your audio feed, so you might need to help us with your microphone. Oh, well, unfortunately, we've lost connection to Clem Agui, who joined us from Orca. Well, let me ask you that question. The question is, if how much impact? What really? If the governor sits with the people and it's okay, we want the release of Nnamdi Kanu, what can he do? He is the governor of the state. He's not the leader of Ohaneze Ndigbo. He's not. He's not in the APC. He's not a lawyer. What really can he do? How much mobilization can he make?
You say he's not in the APC, but is he not in ABGA APC? APC ABGA?
Yes, okay.
Anyway, so what I'm saying in essence is that the governor should show the people, even if for the optics, that he stands with them. We should get to the point where governance should be like one man standing on one high hill, and then the rest of the people are out there in the valley, and they just, load it on the people. Make people feel that you care about their thinking, their thought, that you feel for them. That is all it takes.
Mr. Ranta, what does this say about, the collaborative efforts of the Southeast governors? Looks like they are not sharing ideas. They are not learning from one another. Wouldn't it have been proper for Soludo to approach his brother governors and say, look, the sit at home has died in your place. He didn't even take up before he died, talking about Abia State, talking about Enugu State, and talking about probably Ebonyi State, But he goes out, to do different things. Isn't it proper? Does it speak to some kind of, non-collaborative effort between the Southeast governors?
Mr. Koro, let me tell you the truth. I am highly disappointed with the Southeastern governors. Because, and especially with Governor Soludo, with his professorial acumen, I expect that a man of his standard, of his caliber, with all his exposure, should be able to aggregate the Eastern wealth that is everywhere, both in diaspora and within, and create, a model of development so that Southeast, will be able to galvanize development within the region and create an economic fulcrum that will drive even the entire nation. That's not doing it. You see, these governors, with all that they have, with the wealth of the people, Christ, can't they just look at what they are chasing shadows, acting against the people? And you find out that most of the governors of the Southeast are standing aloof. They don't care about what the people feel. So that is why the people are feeling that, look, maybe it's not even our choices that actually crystallize as the people in the government houses. So they should think of how to put all these things together for the interest of people and let the wealth that is, created within the Southeast region and in the diaspora be used for the good of people and create a hub.
Barrister, but there is also a larger complaint and a dilemma here, because you hear some of these traders say they are being punished by both sides, by the separatists and by the government. So really the question is, who is really protecting them and who should they really listen to? Because the governor is trying to enforce his power. And then you have the IPOB who are not even saying anything, but they are still very...
You see, these questions you are asking, is the governor that you should be asking this question, because, yes, because he is the one. What kind of security has he provided for the people?
But he said there are security infrastructure things in
for
place.
him to come to that place, I watched him on video. For him to come to that place, you could see the number of security men standing beside him. Yeah. Let him create that awareness, create that impression for the people. See, when people feel secured, you don't need to tell them. This man loves business and he loves money. I know that when he comes out, he makes his millions. So why will he not come out? Who is instructing him? Are they giving him money from where? Who is? So find out and solve the problem. And not just come, you just go and just start acting without reasoning. This issue is just making worse of the whole situation.
All right then. Well, thank you very much. Comrade Emmanuel Agbogun. Now, let me ask you this question as we wrap up this conversation. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not even originally from Anambra State, but Abia State, where he's from, it seems to be the clamor for his release seems to have, dwindled in Abia, where he's from. But in Anambra, it's a lot more heated. And then we see, the kind of pushback that we are getting from Anambra. Why do you think this is so? And should we blame the governor, really, for trying to, reduce the effect of those that propagated the seat at home in the first place?
Yes, if you go by what history has always been, Anambra you talk about today has been one of the first war zones during the Biafra War. You had the likes of Ikemba Ojukwu, Odumedu Ojukwu, and other prominent Biafra activists and fighters as it then was. So if you look at Anambra has always shown that bite that we are a leading Igbo settlement within the eastern corridors. And that should not be taken for granted. You have one of the biggest markets in West Africa in Anambra. You have one of the largest concentration of Igbo youths coming together on a daily basis in Anambra. So you don't take that into a joke. Secondly, also, if you look at what is going on in Abia State, a lot of people try to want to marry these things differently. What has been the issue for the agitation of Biafra? It has been we have been neglected, we have been underdeveloped as a people, and we believe government can do more. If you look at what is happening in Abia State today, you agree with me that governance has really come to the doorstep of the people to an extent, and people appear to be a little bit relaxed. But what you're seeing in Anambra, what you're seeing in Imo State, what you're seeing in other eastern states, is that people are still trying to marry. Are we still on this side, or are we going over to this other side? But the people of Anambra, they have always stood for what they believed in long before the advent of the 1999 democracy. So if anybody is asking why Anambra is like this, I think the person should also try to marry history so that he gets a guide, And you see, government must, as a matter of urgent public importance, marry their policies with the views, aims, and aspirations of the Igbo people. What was the deliberation that took place in Enugu and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the five eastern governors? It was give us the Port Harcourt, Enugu, Anambra corridor of roads, make all the airports functional, and ensure that there's security of lives and property, and stop the killings of one sector of Nigerians or the other, or the invasion of our forests. Those were very, 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 very prominent and factual issues that this young man put forward to the governors. How long has it been? It's been over 6 years. Have they been able to push a drive? To an extent, we're only just seeing that the federal government is beginning to show interest in the road corridors and all that. What are their positions to ensure that as a government, we sit down and rebasing our region? What do we really want? What is our people really lacking, and how do we go about it? These are part of the issues to mitigate the Biafra agitation. What are they saying? They are saying they have been neglected. And if a government that wants to run an inclusive government, what do you do as a people? You sit down with your people. For crying out loud, Soludo just came out of an elections, and it would be laughable that Soludo that could not shut the market before elections, believing that he's no longer coming to contest with the Anambrian people again for governor, he cannot do whatever he feels, those things would not work. An average Igbo man is an independent fellow, and we know this as Nigerians. So the high time government begins to look into resolving these basics that has to do with the basics of governance, the better for us.
All right, then.
Nobody wants Nigeria to divide. I don't want Nigeria to divide. All we want is that let government focus on the basics. And these basics are simple. Fix the economy. Get the basic amenities for citizens to coexist. Let these things be running. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Agbogun. Thank you for your contribution there. Well, let's take this, let's get into another conversation now. Still talking about people deciding not to work. But this time around, it's at the FCT. So, FCTA workers defy court order, dare week amid threats of sanctions over continuous protest. Let's talk about this when we come back. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching VOP this morning. And let's move over to Abuja, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has warned striking staff of the Federal Capital Territory, FCTA, to return to work or face legal consequences. Wike issued the warning on Tuesday while briefing journalists shortly after a ruling by the National Industrial Court, ordering an end to the industrial action that has paralyzed services in Abuja for more than a week. While insisting that the rule of law must prevail, he accused political actors of exploiting the strike for purposes unrelated to workers' welfare. According to him, his administration has always engaged in dialogue with the workers, but after the meeting, they go out and implement actions contrary to what was discussed. The minister insisted that he won't be moved by the protest of the workers who have taken over the streets in Abuja. Wike declared that the workers can get more civil servants to join their protest, but he won't be blackmailed, adding that he's, however, ready for amicable discussions on the way forward. Let's take a look at the video.
Of our industrial relationship, with the outcome of today's judgment, what are we likely to see going forward? Will there be a sit-up between the administration and the union to finally...
We have been always disposed to have a dialogue. Like I told you, they have met with the management, they have met with the security agencies. What are the issues? We have talked with them before. But nothing, they give you no problem, nothing will happen before you know they're going to do a different thing. If genuinely, it's okay. We have seen what has gone, what has happened, then we'll talk. But if it's on blackmail, intimidation, I will not agree. If you're not going to hire all the civil servants in the whole world,
oh, well, Mr. Somirant, I'm sure you heard what Emperor Wike has said. But do you think the court was right, to tell the FCTA workers to return to work, rather than having Mr. Wike meet their demands?
You see, the court ought to be a place of succor for those that feel oppressed, by the system. So I was expecting that the court will find out what happened. Why did they decide to go on strike? Every worker wants to work so that he'll get paid. But when people work and you don't pay them, you don't give them their entitlements, you don't do... And this is exactly what this same Minister Wike did in River State. For the 8 years he stayed in River State, civil servants did not get promoted. A lot of things they were owed on different angles. It was not until the current governor came in and he called him, he said, look, I'm amongst you, I'm one of you guys. I know your problems and I will solve it. And the governor of River State, those who had first step, second step or third step promotions, he promoted them and paid everybody their money. In fact, the Christmas of that year, he gave every worker 100,000 naira Christmas bonus. Who went to interview the NLC chairman of River State? The guy said, look, it was not, that the last time workers in River State enjoyed Christmas was when Sir Peter Odili was governor. So, until this governor now came, he should pay them their, what are they discussing? What is the discussion? Say, come and you don't discuss anything. Pay them their dues so that they'll be happy to work. And look at the grandstanding. The way the minister is grandstanding, he has forgotten that this is Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. It's not Lagos, it's not Port Harcourt, it's not any other part of Nigeria. Federal Capital Territory, where all the embassies, all the foreign attention, global attention is on. They are not allowed such a place to have this issue, workers going on strike.
But Wike also said that 12 billion had just been approved, and that talks were on the way before this protest came up.
You see, I don't know the extent he has gone so far, but he should pay them, make it quickly, and not this media grandstanding. He's a man that lost the media. So the way it is, if he pays them their money, they'll go back to work. Why would they? But you see, a laborer deserves his wage. So why owe them?
Okay,
How
so
much is even the people that are paying them?
apparently your problem is that Nigeria is getting embarrassed in all of this.
Of course.
Okay. Now let's go to Benin City, where we still have Comrade Emmanuel Abogun. Comrade Emmanuel, thanks for staying with us. Now, what do you make of the situation in Abuja, the back and forth between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and the protesting workers? They've gone to court, and the court said, look, industrial court said, look, you have to stay on action on the strike. What's your reaction to that judgment from the court? Looking at it from the point of an activist.
Yes, firstly, every worker deserves his or her wages. And if you decide to look what the minister is doing, I do not see it being too healthy for a worker and minister relationship. But for some of us who understand the nature of this unionism that we find ourselves in this dispensation of Nigerian democracy, we begin to see some of these union leaders as political party members, supporting one ideology of leadership to come into power or the other. So at some level, they might want to shortchange or misinterpret some positions they have with certain leadership. And as you all know, in time past, Nyesom Wike was one of those persons who saw the permanent secretary issues and other administrative affairs that it has to do with career of civil servants in Abuja, take that visible turnaround when it has to do with recognizing offices and promotion cadre of.
All right, Comrade Emmanuel, we're almost out of time. Okay.
I'm coming.
Land, yes.
Now, what I would advise the FCT minister and the union, one is that they should not forget that their primary purpose in government is to work for the people. And if they genuinely think that what they are focused on is to deliver the dividends of governance as public servants and as political office holders, then they should shed ranks, sit on the round table, and iron out these issues. Because as it stands today, what we are seeing there is a vendetta game.
Okay, vendetta game. Exactly my point. Yeah. Exactly my point, because we're out of time. I would like to ask you briefly, and you answer and wrap up with your concluding thoughts. You have said something, so we are implying that this strike might just be politically motivated. Is that the angle you are coming from against the FCT minister?
Looking at what the Nigerian politics is all about today, Wike has so many enemies.
Okay.
Even to an extent, I do not agree with him on some gray areas, but he appears to be the most performing minister under this Asiwaju's administration.
Most performing minister, according to the president.
Yes.
The president said he's one of our shining stars.
No, not just according to, if you want to take the indices, when you talk of Wike, you talk of David Umahi, and these have been two rivals, but they've been working tirelessly to ensure that.
All right. Unfortunately, Comrade Emmanuel, we are out of time. We might have to take up this discussion another time. Let's go to Oka and hear from Barrister Clems Agui. Barrister Agui, what do you make of the situation in Abuja between the FCT minister and the striking workers? What's your thought about that? What do you think is going on? Is it politics or is it unionism, active unionism? Are they making genuine demands and all of that? Barrister Clems, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, I can. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the workers are asking for basic things. Pay them their dues. They have their salaries, they have their allowances, they have their benefits, they have their promotion. These are basic things. You pay them their basic things. It's not something that you call them every other time to negotiate. These things are there. If you spend the time, if Wike will spend the time he
Can you, unfortunately, there seems to be a tech
making trouble in the river state. Spend the time he's using making trouble in being given all the power by the president to be able to carry on activities. I think these states will not be there.
All right.
The problem is that he's using the money that he should have used to settle most of these basic bills to be making trouble up and down. He should stop all this trouble. He's getting on people's nerves.
Okay, he's getting.
I don't know what he mean by I don't know what you people mean by the most performing minister, the most performing troublemaker.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Clems Agui. And I'll take that as a concluding thought. Let's come back to the studio here and get concluding thoughts from Mr. Somi Uranta. In 30 seconds, sir, if you can.
You see, Mr. Wike, the things he has been given, the powers he has been given the power to whatever he could raise within the FCT, that the president said, look, take it off TSA, the Treasury single account. So he has a lot of money to do whatever he needs to do. So, I mean, it's insulting to our sensibilities that workers are not paid. Those workers, they know what comes in. Why would you pay them their entitlements? So you should do the needful quickly and restore the dignity and image of Abuja, the federal capital of Nigeria. Because whatever goes wrong there affects the image of Nigeria within the Committee of Nations.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Somi Oranta. I must say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen. We had Barrister Clems Agui, who joined us from Oka. Thank you very much, Barrister Clem Agui. And from Benin, Comrade Emmanuel Abog, human rights activist and public affairs commentator. Must say a very big thank you to you for being part of this show. And from our studio here, Mr. Somi Oranta, philosopher, author, and political affairs analyst. Say a very big thank you to you. We also had Barrister Darlington Agommo, who was part of the first discussion on the show. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agommo. Now, on behalf of the backroom staff and my colleagues here, Moses Humphrey and Jane Agoye, I am Chukwuma Okoro. I'll see you again at 10 o'clock on top of the hour when we return for a super review. Stay with us. Bye for now.
you.